Hi guys, and welcome to the Chef Wednesday vs Sunderland match preview. Now, what a weekend I chose to have off from YouTube, eh? What a weekend. It was probably the perfect decision for me, really, because obviously it was my birthday on the Friday, so I did let you guys know that I'm going to be off for the weekend. I thought I'd just give myself a bit of a break. And my God, I tell you what, obviously I had my birthday celebrations on the Friday. I was a little bit worse for wear, we'll say, on Saturday. I had to sit and watch that 90 minutes of just utter shite against Rotherham. And that's not, taking anything away from Rotherham, because I'm just going to say it, they're a better team than us. They were better than us in every aspect, and we were utterly horrendous. We were utterly shambolic. It was an embarrassment. Now, I'm not going to do a full review in the game against Rotherham, of course, because I did take a break from YouTube over the weekend, and I feel like I'd be going against what I said I was going to do. But I have to mention it, of course. It was terrible. It was utterly terrible. We didn't get a foothold on the game. We got bullied from start to finish. We were so soft. Every play was so soft. We were allowing crosses to come in, and that is a big, big thing for me that I've noticed over the last few weeks, which is something we need to address, and rapidly, and it's how easy we allow crosses to come in the box. It's all well and good. You've got Winchester on one side or Cirkin on the other, looking half decent going forward. But defensively, if they're allowing crosses to come in time and time again, and you've got, players exposed, i.e., Flanagan or Doyle, because the crosses are coming in so repeatedly, and we're letting them come in so easily, then there's no good in having either of them. Do you know what I mean? I like Winchester as a player. I like Cirkin as a player. But we need to hold our hands up when we say they haven't been good enough in terms of allowing crosses into the box, because they were doing it time and time again, and it was so easy for him. At times, it was embarrassing. I was genuinely sat there watching that game, and I was embarrassed at times. Like I said, like the first goal in particular, Winchester miles out of position. Dietrich can't be arsed tracking back, and when he's tracking back, he doesn't know where to run, because I think, for me, and I'm not going to slate the lad, Dietrich, but I know I have mentioned over the last couple of games, I know he's got a personality, a bit like Luke O'Nien. He's one of those he's got a personality, so people tend to like him a bit more. He starts to get a bit of a fan base going for him, like Luke O'Nien does. But you need to say when shit is shit, and he has been shit over the last couple of games. He's so weak, and his positioning is horrendous. Dietrich, particularly coming back, which he's not that kind of player. He's not like, I'm not saying he should be a wing back or whatever, but you're part of a team, get back, and then when he does track back, he's chasing the wrong players and he doesn't know where he's going. So like I said, that first goal was a shambles. Winchester's out of position because Dietrich finds himself coming too narrow and he doesn't help out, and he's left time and time again. Winchester, he's like 3-on-1 half the time, whilst Dietrich's wandering about doing whatever the fuck he wants. So that was just one of the examples. Now, like I said, I'm not going to dig into him too much. It was just a really poor display. Ross Stewart was the only player who comes out of that game with any form of praise, because he tried to drag us forwards a good couple of times, hit the post on one occasion, scored on the other, and he did it all single-handedly. McGeady got himself sent off needlessly as the most experienced player on the pitch. It was the most rookie, piss-poor decision going in for a challenge like that when he'd just been booked. It was just a really shit day at the office, but there's only so many times we can say that. How many times can we say it's a shit day at the office? In the space of 2-3 weeks, we've lost 4-0 away at Pompey, a shite display at Charlton where we lost 1-0, Gillingham where we didn't deserve to win 2-1, but we somehow got away with it, and we've got a battered 5-1 at Rotherham. At what point do we need to say it isn't just a bad day at the office and there's something wrong? And there is something wrong. And this isn't me saying I'm Lee Johnson out, because I'm not, because I like that you can see what he's trying to do with the players we've got right now, but he needs to be able to get this plan B going, or any form of plan B going. Because when you playing a team that do give us a sort of respect, and they will sit off a little bit, or they'll allow us possession, you can see the kind of football he's trying to play, and it is nice at times to see, and we do get our wins, and that's fantastic. That's great to have a plan A, but you need a plan B, because the second we've got a team that are a little bit in our face, a high press, a little bit of physicality, we just curl up in a ball. We just bend over and we give it away, and we're never in a million years going to win this league or get promoted if that's the case. We need a plan B. That's why, you'll see with my preferred 11, even though I'm still not convinced by it, I'll have to explain my preferred 11. But like I say, the main thing for me is not only are we so unbelievably weak in the middle when we get overrun, any kind of physicality, like I say, we're so weak, we're weak as piss. But out wide, that's where we are getting absolutely battered. You've got Cirkin on one side, because obviously on against Rotherham, you had McGeady over on one side with Cirkin. McGeady doesn't track back, he never has done. So you've got Cirkin, who's getting absolutely battered, and it's not necessarily just Cirkin's fault, but just McGeady's fault, because he's knackered. He's absolutely knackered. But going forward, he's generally okay, isn't he? But with Cirkin, You know, he needs to be better in stopping the crosses coming in. He gives so much space, as does Winchester. I'm not just singling Cirkin out, but Winchester does as well. Instead of just getting it in his man's face, getting the block off, and if he does go out for a throw, he goes out for a throw in, whatever. That's fine. We'll deal with it afterwards. But to just allow crosses to come in and put us in danger, it's shocking. You may as well not be there. You may as well not have full-backs because it's that poor. So you've got obviously Diaco on the other side as well, who isn't helping out Winchester. So you've got two wingers there that aren't helping out the full-backs that are getting absolutely fucked over. So this is why I made a few changes to my preferred starting 11. And if we do have a look at Sheff Wednesday, sorry, I've completely skipped over Sheff Wednesday because I'm just getting a bit pissed off. I'm getting a bit pissed off, should I say, with this team. But I just think that Lee Johnson, he needs a plan B for good sides. Because when we play teams that are sort of lowly and they do give us possession, like I say, it's all well and good saying we play a nice tic-tac of football. You know, it's nice to see that. Of course it is. You know, against Crewe, we battered him 4-0. But then against any team that show any kind of physicality, we're shite. But either way, yeah. So if you have a look at Sheff Wednesday, of course they're a good team. They're a big club. We know that. They have some good players within their ranks as well. But, you know, when I looked at their results, I didn't realise how kind of bad it's been. I say bad, but they're somehow 8th, yet I'm looking at their fixtures and their results, and it's just sort of like draw, win, draw, loss, win, draw. And they're just picking up draw after draw after draw. But when you look at the league table, you know, they played 15. They've only won the 5, but they drew 7, which is the joint highest in the league. And they've only lost 3 games, so that's good going. You know, we've lost more games than them, but we've won 4 more than them. So you can see that if you look at their matches in recent times, they haven't won in the previous 4 games. Drew 2-2 with Cheltenham away from home, drew 1-0 with Lincoln, 1-0 with Cambridge, 2-0 with Wimbledon, and their last win came early in October against Bolton. So, you know, it's very up and down for them at the minute, but they're just on the peripheral of the playoffs, and I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. And like I say, against Rotherham with us, I said that I think Rotherham will win the league. In my predictions before the season started. So, you know, getting beat off him, you know, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. Of course, I want us to win every game, but, you know, I expected a difficult game. But the way we bent over and the manner in which we lost, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. Like I said, I'm not Lee Johnson out. I think he's starting to get the foundation of what we want here. You've got a bit of youth and a mixture of experience as well. But we need that physicality, big time, be it in defence or in the middle, mainly in the middle for me, because we've got such weak players in the middle. You know, Luke O'Nien, who for me, again, I keep saying, no, I love the lad, of course I do. You know, I like him as a person, I love his attitude, and that's fine. But he needs to be doing well on the pitch as well for me to, you know, keep sticking my neck out for you. And let's be honest, last 3-4 games in particular, he's been absolutely terrible. He's been garbage. I think he needs to go away and have this shoulder surgery for me. You know, it's all well and good saying, oh, but he's been a warrior because he's playing with his shoulder injury. I'd rather you be fully fit, you know, because a fully fit Luke O'Nien isn't a bad player. You know, regardless of what people say, I know we can be a bit of a scapegoat for people. Regardless of what people say, Luke O'Nien is a decent player, in my eyes anyway. But he's injured and he's been shit. He's been shocking. You know, so you've got Luke O'Nien who can't go into a full challenge because his shoulder's going to, you know, fall off at any point now. You've got Dhannoo, who isn't, of course, he's not the most physical lad. He's only 19 years of age. And they're getting overrun, they're getting battered by big brick shithouses. And that's what's happening. So we need that in January. Hopefully that is the case. And you know, and we need to be able to weather the storm that we're in now. And hopefully in January we recruit properly. You know, I'm not saying that I don't think the transfer window was particularly bad in the summer. Because like I say, we've laid the foundations down. But I think now we're starting to see the cracks of what we need. We need proper full-backs. Because you've got Denver Hume is injured, Huggins is out long term. You've got Winchester who's a centre mid playing right back again. You know, so we need at least one full back minimum. I need a couple of central midfielders or at least one big brick shithouse in the middle who can do the dirty work, who can sit back and he can really get in the faces of the opposition. Because at the minute we've got too many players that are just far too nice. But either way, Jesus Christ, how long's gone? Nearly 10 minutes. I haven't even got into my predicted 11 so far. Well, my preferred 11. So I'm going to go into my preferred 11 and I'll explain what this mess is. So I've seen a lot of people online go for a 3 at the back with wing backs, and of course the reason for it is because of these crosses. In goal, firstly, I've gone for Lee Burge. Is that harsh on Hoffman? For me, I don't think it is. Hoffman has been class, but if you compare the weeks that both keepers have had, you need to start rewarding the keepers that are doing well in the cup. Because Lee Burge, he was absolutely immense against QPR. His distribution was good. He came out and he was collecting when he needed to. Of course, he had the penalty saves and other really good saves throughout the game. Then you've got Hoffman at the weekend who conceded 5. Don't get me wrong, the defence was absolutely shite in front of him. But, you know, you've got Burge, who was on the high of the cup. And then you've got Hoffman who's conceded 5 against Rotherham. for me, Burge has to go in. There's no excuses for it. I'm sorry, I like Hoffman. I think all round, Hoffman is probably the better goalkeeper. But in comparisons of form, you need to run off form sometimes, and I think Burge deserves to get himself between the sticks there. Now at the back, we've got Doyle, Flanagan and Alves. Now like I say, the reason I'm doing this, it looks so defensive, but if this is played correctly and properly, this can be just as attacking as it is defensive. Because if Sirkin, if he's getting overrun at left back, right, if he's getting overrun at left back, to allow the crosses come in, Sirkin can drop back and Doyle can push over and help and double up on the crosser. Or Embleton, I've gone there on the left-hand side. Again, I'll explain for that later on. But you've got Embleton on one side, Gooch on the other to help and tuck in with Winchester as well. Daniel can come across and get the triangles going to try and crowd out the crosser as well. There's just a lot of room to move around with this system and this formation. Like I say, if it's played correctly, it can be just as attacking as it is defensive. So I've gone for Doyle, Flanagan and Alves as a back three with Winchester at wing back on the right and Sirkin on the left. In the middle, I've dropped 09 for very obvious reasons. Evans and Dan Neil will be sitting in there. Embleton, I've put in there because, of course, McGeady is going to be suspended now. I could go for Diaku, but I think we just need someone who can really push and trap back. Of course, we need that pace. Embleton doesn't possess the pace that Diaku does have, but Diaku also, I just think, is a little bit of a headless chicken at times from what we've seen so far. And again, you might think I've been harsh on him, but I'm just being as honest as I can be. You know, I do like the lad. He looks like he's got potential, but as for now, I think he's someone to bring on for the final 15-20 minutes of the game to try and stretch the play. Because starting from the game, he does look like a bit of a headless chicken, and I think his positioning and his positional awareness is quite poor. He's very weak, and I think against teams that, you know, that's tiring off, then yes, bring him on because he'll be very useful in those kind of situations. As he was against Crewe, he'd come on and he'd run the length of the pitch. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a tiring Crewe side who did a lot of running that day, but against a fully fit or a fully energised Sheff Wednesday side, I don't think he's going to. He's not going to fit the bill for it at all. So Embo, I've gone on the left-hand side. Gooch on the other, for obvious reasons. He's got that physicality. He always tracks back. Regardless of what we say about Gooch, we miss him when he's not in the side. And, of course, Stewart up top as well. So with that system, of course, you can get Daniel can break forward. You can get Embleton and Gooch who can crowd around Stewart. And you've got Sirkin and Winchester because they are both fit lads. And if they are both fit lads, they can turn into wingers themselves. And Embo can tuck in, Gooch can tuck in and join alongside Stewart. And Winchester and Sirkin can be the ones that are providing the crosses in. And then you've got Embo, Stewart and Gooch there at the back post as well. So like I say, this can be a very attacking system if played correctly. But can we do it on Tuesday? We shall see. So that is my preferred 11 for this game. I know it's a little bit of a mess, but you know, when you're coming away from a 5-1 win, you're desperate for something different, aren't you? So you guys let me know in the comments down below what your preferred 11 would be, of course. But in terms of my score predictions, it's a difficult one because I would have said a week or two ago, you know, a point away from home at Sheff Wednesday isn't bad. And it isn't a bad result. It really isn't. If you're looking at it as an individual result, it isn't a bad result at all. But when you're coming off the back of a 5-1 twatting from Rotherham, you know, you can't look in any other direction than a win. But am I going to predict a win? No, I'm not. I think if we go for this system that I've said and we play it correctly, I think we're going to get away with a Jack Ross special, a 1-1 draw, and that's what I'm going to predict, a 1-1 draw, which again isn't the worst thing in the world. But for me, I think Lee Johnson, he needs to get these wins back together now because 4-0 and 5-1 in League One, in this division, it isn't good enough. I'm not, like I say, I'm not Lee Johnson out, but he needs to sort his shit out. He does, end of. So I want to predict a 1-1 draw. I'll go for a Ross Stewart equaliser at some point in the game because he's the only one who's giving me any confidence at the minute. But it's just the highs of, you know, that week just gone. You've got the highs of going through in the cup to then getting absolutely mauled by Rotherham. It's just a week of being a Sunderland fan, really, isn't it? But anyway, you guys let me know what you think the score will be. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care. Stay jammed.